Here's my audience. I have my citations and my outline. Let me start by asking a question. How was one woman able to change the world? Today I will be giving you information on Amelia Earhart. There are three main ideas about Amelia I will discuss. I will start by discussing her background, then I will discuss her role as a pilot, and finally, I will finish by informing you about her disappearance. Let me begin by telling you about Amelia Earhart's background. She was born on July 24th, 1897 in Atchison, Kansas. As a child, she showed an independence and adventurous nature which she would later become known for. She actually built a makeshift roller coaster with the help of her uncle in the backyard by connecting a ramp to the tool shed from the roof of the house. She used a wooden box as a sled to go down the ramp. In her eyes, it was just like flying. After moving often, she finally completed high school in Chicago in 1916. She enrolled in a pre-med program at Columbia University, New York. She only stayed enrolled for one semester before leaving. She then moved back to Los Angeles, California with her parents. Around the age of 23, Amelia experiences her first real flight with Frank Hawks. This experience was life-changing for her. Amelia visited an airfield with her father in Long Beach, California. Her father purchased Amelia a 10-minute flight. After this flight, Amelia's passion for flying grew stronger over the next year. She worked more jobs to save $1,000 to go towards flying lessons. Next, let's move on to discuss her role as a pilot. Not even a year after Amelia took flying lessons in 1922, she set a world record for female pilots in her own newly purchased biplane that she named the Canary, by flying an altitude record of 14,000 feet. Only 7 months later, Amelia would become the 16th woman to receive her pilot's license. Although she was forced to sell her plane due to lack of money, she never lost the love for flying. In 1928, Amelia received an opportunity, which began her fame. She was offered a chance to fly the Atlantic with Wilmer Stoltz. After that, Amelia became one of the most celebrated aviators. She received the Distinguished Flying Cross from Congress, the Cross of Knight of the Legion of Honor from the French government, and the Gold Medal of the National Geographic Society from President Hoover. She became the first female and second person after Charles Lindbergh to fly across the Atlantic. She also set the women's world flying speed record of 181.18 miles per hour across the Atlantic, and the fastest non-stop transcontinental flight in 19 hours and 5 minutes. 4 years later, on May 30th, 1932, Amelia would get her wish of flying solo across the Atlantic in her single-engine Lockheed Vega aircraft. Earhart wanted to do more. She founded an organization of female pilots. They were referred to as the 99s. It was an international organization that consisted of 99 female pilots. Finally, I will end by informing you about Amelia's disappearance. On June 1st, 1937, Earhart and her navigator, Noonan, set out to fly around the world. The adventure was 29,000 miles. They arrived in New Guinea after traveling 22,000 miles on June 29th. They only had 7,000 more miles to go. They rested here for a few days before it was reported that they had left for New Guinea on July 2nd. They were set to arrive on Holland Island. They never made it to their destination. Last reports show that Earhart claimed they were low on fuel and were not sure of their current location. She also reported they were only flying at 1,000 feet. There was an official search for Earhart and Noonan until July 19, 1937. It was the most extensive air and sea search in naval history. It was assumed that they had crashed into the Pacific Ocean. Earhart and Noonan were considered lost at sea. To this day, there have been many speculations as to what really happened to Amelia Earhart on her flight around the world. I just told you the aspects of Amelia Earhart's life. I started by giving you information on her background. Next, I informed you of her role as a pilot. Lastly, I gave you information about her disappearance. Although she never made it to her 40th birthday, in her brief life, Amelia Earhart became internationally famous as a record-breaking female aviator.